Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Jeremy Birmingham. This is Birminology. Today, we're talking with Nate Roberts, a 2025 tight end from Washington, Oklahoma, who has arrived at Ohio State on Friday morning for a two-day visit ahead of the Ohio State Buckeyes game against Western Kentucky. Nate and I sat down and chatted a little bit about his interest in Ohio State on Thursday evening before he took off. And we're going to bring that to you right now. Thanks for watching. As promised, Nate Roberts joins us now. Nate, I was talking on a podcast of ours on Thursday night, and I realized in saying that you're from Washington, Oklahoma, how confusing it was to me that it's a city that's named after a state, because I don't think there's many other ones around the country. And I went on a little tirade, and I realized that I sometimes I just get caught up on dumb things. But you're making a big trip to Ohio State in the morning, and we're going to talk about it now. But you were there in June for what, 7-8 hours on a single day visit. First opportunity to connect with Keenan Bailey, Ryan Day, etc. How much more important is this weekend for you to get a true sense of everything Ohio State is?
Yeah, well, that first visit was definitely just like a one-day visit. I mean, we were trying to just hit everything like really quick. We were trying to hit as many things really quickly. Well, this time I'm trying to hit all that stuff again, like what Ohio State really is about, like just more in depth. That's kind of the big thing for me and my family. But just see what Ohio State's all about.
This process can be a little overwhelming at times, and I understand that. You went through a number of schools in June where you stopped in and you were there for a couple hours and then have to make big decisions based on that small sample size of data.
Yep.
What was the thing or two that stood out the most about that June visit that has got you excited about this return that you're making this weekend?
Yeah, the big thing for me is the relationship that me and Coach Keenan Bailey has built. I mean, he showed me like the world. I mean, he showed me so much when I was at Ohio State for that small period of time. He showed me how much like interest he has in me. Like he really wanted to show me as much as he could in that little amount of time, even though he couldn't show me as much as he wanted. But that's like a big thing for me. I mean, just the way that he treated me on that little visit was a big thing for me and my family.
It's well documented at this point, Nate, but you have family that is familiar with Ohio State. You've got family in Pickerington, right?
Yes, sir.
So it's not like Ohio State is foreign to you. It's not like it's someplace that you don't understand.
Yeah.
As a football player, it's easy to see, and you watch it on TV and you know it's Ohio State. They're one of the winningest programs of all time, yada, yada, yada.
Yes, sir.
But as a young person trying to figure out where you belong in life, how challenging has it been to separate the parts of your family that are tied to Oklahoma, the parts of your family that are tied to Ohio State, to just getting what's best for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to say no to home, but I mean, you got to do what's best for you. So I'm gonna go visit all these places. Like I'm gonna see really what the best fit for me is, and definitely having family in Ohio State, like in Pickerington, that's not too far away, is like a big thing for me. It's not just like I'm going 10 plus hours away with no one that I know. I mean, I have family only 30 minutes away in case I am in some type of trouble. But I mean, that's like a big thing for me. So I think like Ohio State would definitely be a place for me because I definitely want that family tie somewhere like near me. Like that would be the biggest thing for me if I did decide to go far.
When you're talking about this visit, you get in on Friday morning, you're going to have a full day on Friday. You're going to get the full game day experience on Saturday, but it's also not a noon game. So you get some time in the morning, which is nice. You get an opportunity to see campus. You get an opportunity to see campus life. You also get a chance to hang out with other recruits who are in town,
Yes, sir.
and players that, as you watch this Ohio State team, I'm assuming because it was in the summer, you didn't get a real chance to meet with the position group, Cade Stover, et cetera. How important is it for you to sit down and get to know these guys who are in the pipeline there to see what it's like for them as an Ohio State player?
Yeah, I think that's a big thing for me as well. I definitely would like to sit down with these guys and just ask what it's like to be a Buckeye and what's the relationship that they build with Coach Keenan and like what uh what he's like and I definitely would love to sit down with like Coach Kate Stover and Joe Royer. Like I think those would be two really good guys just to ask about and like what they have gotten out of Ohio State, both as a football player and both as a better person outside of football. But I would definitely like to sit down with Coach Keenan again more briefly about like the use of tight ends there and what he can do with me in his offense. I think those would be two big things for me this upcoming visit.
Yeah, that's sort of the catch-22 for Ohio State. And when they recruit big-time tight ends like yourself around the country, they're battling a perception that they don't use the tight end enough. But yet,
Yep.
and they turn around and say, "Yeah, but all of our tight ends are in the NFL." So how do you as a player weigh out? Is it important to get more catches? Is it important to be developed over the course of 3-4 years? I mean, how do you? Because I know as you went through this process early and have reopened things, one of the things that you probably maybe pushed Ohio State off to the side for early was because you think maybe they don't throw the ball to the tight end enough. How do they combat that in conversation with you?
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows that Ohio State definitely uses the wide receivers a lot. I mean, they are arguably wide receiver university, but these past couple games, I mean, Coach Keenan, even before season, he was showing me clips of them using 12, 13 personnel. That's a big thing for me, even 11 personnel. He's definitely texting me every single day about how they're using it, and that's a big thing for me. But I mean, in my early process, that was definitely a reason. Like that was just a reason that I didn't go there, didn't commit there in my big early process. But now that I'm taking it easy, I decommitted, and I'm really going to look into this season how they use the tight end and how Coach Keenan like how he uses them in their offense with like how good their wide receiver core is. But I would definitely like to just sit down with Coach Keenan and just talk about their tight end use in the future and how they would use me in their offense.
One of the things that is, I think, is important, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it's not important for you in your process, but is the ability to connect to the other players around the country who are being recruited by Ohio State. I know that Tavian St. Clair told me that he's been chatting with you a little bit. He mentioned he told me that he was going to see if his coach could figure out a way to get you in uniform for them on Friday night since they're only a half hour away from
Yeah,
Columbus. But
yeah,
no, he's the only commitment in the class of 2025 for the Buckeyes at this point. They're not really the type of program that speeds into things.
yep.
How what does it feel like to know that you are the top priority for a program like Ohio State? Like, is that different?
Yeah, I mean that's a big thing for me and my family. I That's a big thing for me as well. I mean, I want to be the number one guy. I mean that would be the biggest thing is them showing me how big of a priority I am to them. Like I'm not just another player. Like I would love to be like I think Coach Keenan's done a great job showing me how important I am to him and the Buckeyes. Gets me on the phone with Coach Day, offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach. I mean, I'm talking to everyone. I think that's a big thing for me. They've done a great job with how they've like made me feel like a great player. Like feel very wanted, feel very wanted at Ohio State. So
No,
that's the big key to me.
it's a huge part of the process is understand, there's a lot of people, there's so many cliches in the recruiting world, like go where go where you wanted, not just needed. Some people
Yeah,
will say go where you're needed, not just wanted. Like it's all,
yeah,
some people will say, love who loves you. Some people will say
yep,
follow your heart. Like it's all so many things that people say, but in the recruiting world, it's really about what people do that matters and how they go ahead and back up all of the stuff that they're saying. For your family on a weekend like this, is there anything specific that you're looking for that you go, hey, we have to feel this, we have to see this, or is it a very open-minded experience heading into the weekend?
I mean, it's just a really open-minded experience over the weekend. We're kind of just like trying to just experience our first Ohio State game in the shoe. I think that I've just heard great things about it, so I just want to feel the atmosphere and how like the guys work together and what again from earlier, just like the tight end use in their offense. I think those are big keys for us. Is just we're going into this visit very open-minded, just kind of taking it all in. Since we are so far away from home, just experiencing other places. So I think the biggest thing is just see what the whole environment at Ohio State is like.
I know that, because of the decommitment that you've already gone through, you are likely not in a hurry to make any sort of decisions again at this point. But what did you most learn from this summer that you will apply moving forward? I mean, is there any lesson that, I know that there's frustration and that there's, you wish you didn't have to do things the way that they went, but what have you learned the most from that as you now look ahead to the next decision, whenever that may come?
Yeah, I mean, I just got to know that I'm in no rush. I still have a whole nother season, but I just got to know that I can take my time, and if I need to wait long, and like if they're taking a guy and I'm like they're waiting on me, but I want to wait, I'm just going to let them take that guy. I definitely need to make sure that I know that my time is right. Make sure that I can trust the people that I'm going with, and make sure that they've shown me that they have trust for me and I have trust for them as well. But the biggest thing for me is I'm just know that I have time and I don't need to like rush anything.
A lot of people at this point, Nathan, I'm going to call you Nathan because it sounds formal.
Yep. Yep.
It seems like a lot of people want to pen you into this Ohio State versus Oklahoma from here, right? But there's other teams around the country that you're still looking at. It's not like it's a 2-team race at this point. Where else are you going in this season? Where else are you excited to go visit?
So I'm visiting Ohio State this weekend. Then I will be at Penn State the next weekend. Then I'll be visiting Tennessee as well. Then I'm going to hit Oklahoma again. And we're thinking then after that, we're just going to keep our options open. I think we're going to try to hit Oregon and Texas A&M. I think those are our next 2 spots. So
racking up those frequent flyer miles, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For sure.
Well, look, I really do appreciate your time. I know you got to be at the airport at like 4 a.m., so I'm going to let you bounce out of here. And thank you for giving our watchers and listeners an opportunity to know a little bit about you heading into this very important weekend for you. Thanks so much for taking time, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That is Nate Roberts. He is Ohio State's priority 1 at tight end in the class of 2025. I am Jeremy Birmingham. This has been Birminology on the podcast. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.